I'm here with Luke Nesbit, Reay, who has his first amateur fight coming up this coming Saturday at the British Fighting Championships against Cody Lindsay, who's fighting out of Scotland. So, look, this is going to be your first amateur fight.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How have you been preparing? Just overall, how are you feeling?
I feel okay. Yeah, I feel quite relaxed. It's my first bout in a cage, but I've had a kickboxing fight and a boxing fight in the past. So yeah, just I'm quite relaxed about it. I'm not nervous. I'm just excited to showcase what I've been learning over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm approaching it. Yeah.
And well, being that you're still very young, still coming up, as in,
Mm.
I like to take things back a little bit. Where your love for the sports of mixed martial arts, and in the broader sense, your love for the combat sports, where did that
Mm.
come from? What started your interest?
So I started training when I was 16. I wasn't really into it. When I was younger, I was always a footballer, so I never really looked into it that much. And then I just seen the advertisement for the lab, and they did a trial, like a 5-week trial. So I went when I was 16, and then ever since then, I've just loved learning the sport and the craft. It's really interesting in my opinion. And yeah, I'm just happy to be able to do what I love. You know what I mean? It's fun.
Nice, no.
Yeah,
That's good. Clearly, it's something you're very passionate about,
I
which
am.
is
Yeah,
yes,
definitely. It's it's just down to me at the end of the day as well. That's what I like about the sport. In football, you've got a full team behind you. So if one person loses, like everyone loses, it's all your fault. But if I lose, it's all on me. So it's up to me to put the graft in. Do you know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
why I like this sport. Yeah.
I'm gonna delve a little bit deeper. I say combat sports in
Mm-hmm.
the wider sense of mixed martial arts. Why MMA? I mean, there's other similar avenues, which also
Yeah.
combats contact sports. There's judo, there's BJJ, there's the kickboxing. But why specifically? There's even boxing. But why
Yeah. Yeah.
specifically did you choose mixed martial arts?
Honestly, I don't really know, to be honest. I liked watching it with my mates. When Conor McGregor was still fighting a lot, and
Yeah.
just you kind of get hooked on things like that, don't you? So that's why I decided to give it a go. And yeah, ever since then, I haven't really looked back. I've just kept going and going and cracking on with it.
That's good. Um, okay, it can be a brutal sport. You've watched
Yeah,
Conor McGregor, like you said. You've watched other guys who have come, who are ahead of you, who are established figures and established names in combat sports. Um, Not to put a downer on you, or as a young and
mm,
upcoming athlete, what about the concerns for like your health and the injury and so on? Because I can tell you that even just for me, the few kickboxing lessons I've had in the past,
yeah,
my mom has always said that no, you shouldn't be doing that. Even when I make it clear I'm never going to be competing on a professional sense or
yeah.
professional format. So, as in, has anyone or even yourself had any concerns for your health, well-being of your health?
Um, so it's usually just my mum. My mum is not really keen on the whole fighting idea, um, which is understandable. But she's understanding in a way that she knows I'm actually quite decent at it. So if I do have a chance to make it in doing something I enjoy, then she's not going to hold me back at all. Do you know what I mean? But for myself, I feel like I could get hurt. Yeah, it's one of them things, but I could end up doing something to someone else. It's all part of the sport. I think you've just got to
Yeah.
recognize that that's the game, and that's what you're into. So make sure you know what you're doing before you sign up for it. That's what I think.
So this will be, of course, your first amateur fight.
Mm.
Your opponent's, yeah, your opponent, Cody, he's also, let's say, in the sense of fighting records and his past fighting experience, he's also let's say evenly matched it like yourself, 0-0.
Mm.
What do you make of him? And since it's going to be an amateur fight, you've never met him before, have you? Face to face?
No, never.
Okay. Have you ever seen or even heard about how he spars?
The first time I heard his name was about 2-3 weeks ago. So like nothing at all. Obviously, but I'm not overlooking anything. You know, he's just like me. He trains the sport, and he wants to show how good he is, and show the skills that he's been learning. So I'm just excited to get in there. Really, it could have been anyone, in my opinion. Yeah,
definitely. Now I kind of jumped the gun there a little bit. So I really should ask you, with anything that you've heard or anything you've seen, what do you make of your opponent? Yeah.
What I make, well, honestly, I don't really know anything about the man. You know, I know he trains out of Goliath, but I don't really know anything about that gym either. So it's one of them. It's going to be a feeling out process, I believe. Just getting in there and figuring out what's what, because I have nothing to go off, really, nothing at all. So we'll see what happens on the day. Yeah.
No, I understand, definitely. So no, this is where I really think I kind of went a step ahead of myself. Preparing for the fight, you know, your camp, making weight, cutting weight.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's all rosy. It's going good. I feel well prepared. We've worked on a lot of things in training. Set up a type of game plan. So I'm confident in the preparation. And the weight cut's fine. It's barely anything for me. I'm quite naturally at that weight anyway, so it's just it's all right. Yeah, just have to cut out a few sweets every now and then, because I do have a little Haribo habit.
No, but, I know. Other than that, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
For this fight, you're not because of the natural weight that you naturally walk around at. You're not having to drastically cut weight. That is to sitting in the sauna, sitting in the sunshine for hours just to sweat off the actual water, anything like that.
No, nothing like that. It's just monitoring the diet a bit more and training consistently, and it usually goes quite naturally. Yeah, so I'm quite happy about that. None of the sauna suits, nothing like that.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that is all going well.
Yeah.
Now, going back to your mixed martial arts career, again, this will be your first fight, and you're really rising through the ranks. You're up and coming fighter. Would you say in the next 5 or 10 years, would you see yourself still staying in the sports, or would you do you think you might want to have a taste of the other forms, boxing, kickboxing?
It's a hard one, that. I can definitely see myself doing something to do with combat sports in the future of my life. Yeah, 100%. We'll see what happens with the cage fighting, I guess. You know, it's the first fight. Hopefully all goes well. But I'd like to see myself doing the sport for a long time. Yeah. And who knows, could branch out in other things as well. Yeah.
Would you say that probably once you reach a certain number of fights beneath your belts, would you like to try and probably aim to go and join one of the big names, Bellator, UFC, One Championship, PFL, Cage Warriors?
Yeah, of course. I think that's what everyone wants to do when you're in this sport and you're aiming to compete. You know, you want to push yourself to your limits, and I think they're the types of companies that do that. You know, the promotions that do that. So obviously, it's my first amateur fight. I want to get this out of the way with, and then we'll keep going. Do you know what I mean? That's the plan. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm just really trying to think of what else I can ask. It's just that, again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. It's annoying when there's not enough info on the
yeah, I understand.
On the amateur fighters. It's really annoying. Yeah. Your the gym, the lab. Any other names that are going to be following your footsteps?
Following the footsteps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent in the lab. I think it's a great gym to train at. It's very friendly as well, very welcoming. So there is a lot of good youngsters in the gym at the minute, but we've got a good fighter, Kyle Wilson, who also trains at the lab. He's 3-0 at the minute. He's a up-and-coming fighter. We've also, Lanchana Green. She trains out at the lab as well. So there's loads of talent in the gym, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Really, it's a good environment to train in. Yeah, but I can guarantee there'll be a lot of young people coming from the lab in the future. I can guarantee that. Yeah.
I'm not sure what your stance is on politics, but I was thinking whether I should ask you about the mixed martial arts scene, the way things are at the moment, especially with certain names in the sport, such as the Paul brothers, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, especially Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And people bash me again for being kind of ranting on about the same thing, but being as someone who you're kind of not in that direction, but you're working your way up to be an established figure in mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
What is your take on the current situation in the mixed martial arts community, especially when
what do you mean by that? Like just how it is as a whole, the community, or
well, yes, I think some things that have been happening, I think those are kind of like the expected things, in the sense that these things it's a part of the culture and the community. Not that it's necessarily anything bad, but that's how it's always been. But when you have people like the Paul brothers that have come from a very unique background in comparison to other people, even including Conor McGregor, even something such as their name value and their popularity, they've not really achieved and worked their way up through the ranks like other people, like Conor McGregor,
like other people. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not earned their stripes in the same way. They might earn the popularity through doing things such as the filming and the comedy and prank stuff, but not by fighting and doing the, just starting from the bottom and working
from the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, my take on the Paul brothers, fair play to them. I like, as much as it is the earning the stripes thing, they're at the end of the day, they're entertainers, and their job is to entertain and to make themselves money, isn't it? And if that's one way they can think of doing it, then happy days for them. Fair enough, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Jake Paul will probably get seen to eventually, and then it'll all die down, I imagine.
Excuse me.
No problem, mate.
I've always said, where those guys are concerned, especially Jake, he talks the most. Until in the case of boxing, until he actually goes up against someone who's a proper professional trained boxer, a serious boxer, that's boxing is in their blood. Yeah. Until he does that, whether he wins or loses that fight, I can't take him seriously.
No, I can understand that as well, though. He doesn't fight boxers. It's one of them things. If he does, you'll probably see a big difference. But until then, I understand you can't really. He's fought some good guys though, like Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, all them lot. But I get what you mean from the whole boxer thing. Yeah, definitely. I think if you put him in an MMA cage with Tyron Woodley, it's a completely different story, isn't it? So,
You see, the thing is, I some people may disagree with me when I say this, when they hear me say it. I would prefer seeing him in mixed martial arts than boxing.
Because definitely.
Because mixed martial arts, there's a lot more that you have to contend with. There's a lot more you have to use, but you're going to get far more seriously hurt.
Yeah. He has a wrestling background as well, so it would be quite interesting to watch. But I don't think we'll see it anytime soon. Who knows? Who knows?
Look, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem.
But before I wrap up, I always ask my guests: is there anyone who you want to give a shout out to? Sponsors, family, close friends?
Yeah, not I've got no. So just shout out to the lab. I think the best gym in. If you ever need to go train somewhere, or you're looking for somewhere to train, the labs I think is the best place to do it. Yeah. Shout out to the training partners as well.
Awesome. Awesome. No, definitely we'll put all the contact information in the description box below the video and in the description for the podcast as well on Spotify.
No problem. Yeah.
So Luke Nesbit, see you in the cage on Saturday, the 26th of March.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.